Welcome to the Rebel Rebel, and I am sitting here at a very safe distance with Riley Kearl, and he's from Vantage Magazine. Riley, how you doing?
Great, doing awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing wicked. I don't want to talk anything really about COVID other than the fact that we are doing this via Zoom, and thanks so much for dialing in.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. If you could take a minute and let us know just a little bit of a background of who you are and what you're doing, and then let's dig into the details.
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm from Calgary, born and raised. Vantage Magazine is an art magazine.
Yeah.
So started about 4 years ago. And the idea 4 years ago, first magazines are published in 2017. So the idea is to give an artist a platform to be able to showcase their work.
Nice. And so
in print.
Sorry, say that again.
In print.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And so if you, now you're going into episode, wow. You're going into number 8, right? So you've had 7 so far?
We've had 8 so far. So we're going into issue number 9 is next.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the artists that you've featured?
Our last issue, number 8, we featured cocktail artists. So it was a cocktail edition.
Amazing.
We also featured a couple of chefs with some of the restaurants who do close pairings. But overall, we featured a lot of photographers. We featured painters, muralists. We did a maker issue. Issue 7 was a maker issue. So we had a fly fishing rod maker. We had a macrame artist, a jewelry maker.
Wow.
So that was our maker issue. But lots of painters. And moving forward, we're focusing on the theme of the magazine. So making sure we have a set theme. And our next one's going to be murals. So we're focusing on murals.
Oh, especially so. And if you're not local to Calgary, we've had an influx of murals around town. They're everywhere, and they're giant, and they're gorgeous.
Yes, exactly, and that's partly due to the Bump YYC project. So, and I've always had a love for murals, so I'm pretty excited about this one.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, so let's back up a step. And what's your background that led you to take this on? Because I mean, it's a passion project, certainly. But how did you get here?
Yeah, it's definitely a passion project. I've always been a photographer. Yeah. So getting more and more into photography and kind of honing my craft that way. A friend of mine, we were out shooting one day, and part of the reason why is we wanted to showcase our work in a different way. So we felt cheap posting on Instagram. Like if we had our best photo in the world, we didn't feel like we could post that on Instagram.
Right.
We wanted a different platform to be able to showcase our own photos in the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's when the idea was born. We wanted to handing somebody a magazine is a little bit more solid than handing somebody your phone and showing them their Instagram.
Right.
And then there's kind of a story behind how we started the magazine, which we were out for a shoot one day and happened upon the Calgary Music Center, which was our goal to shoot.
Yeah. On
Canada Day of 2016.
Yeah.
And so I think I mentioned this story to you before, but it's a pretty awesome story.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it's really kind of the impetus of it all. And it says a lot about your personality, I think.
Yeah. So originally it was to kind of showcase our own photos, and our goal on Canada Day of 2016 was to shoot the Music Center, which was opening day of the Music Center. And finally we shot around Canada on Canada Day, Princess Island Park, all over the place. Yeah. Got to the Music Center, huge line out the door.
Yeah.
There's no way we're getting in.
Right.
So my friend was ready to go home, and I was like, well, we got to get in there somehow. So kind of just weaseled my way up to the front of the line and asked if I could speak with the marketing manager. And they said, oh, talk to this person over here. I said, hey, and then my story kind of started changing. Hey, I'm here with this company. I'm looking for the media entrance. And then eventually it was like, hey, I'm here with Vantage Magazine. And I kind of made up that name.
No way.
Yeah. So I'm here with Vantage Magazine to, is there a media entrance? And then finally we talked to the right person. They said, yeah, come on in. We went in, and gave us a little tour of the front lobby, told us about where the tiles came from at the music center, about the architecture. And then they let us loose in there, and we shot for about an hour and a half, caught a lot of great photos, and all those photos made it into the first issue of Vantage Magazine. So I like to say it's not a lie, it was a projection of what was to come. So I delivered actually the first issue of Vantage Magazine on Canada Day of 2017 to the Music Center.
Amazing.
Next year. So
wow. And what did they say? What was their feedback?
I dropped it off at the front entrance. Yeah. I wanted to speak to the marketing manager that I spoke with the year before, but it was Canada Day again, so she was busy. But,
yeah, well, fair enough.
But they enjoyed it.
That's awesome. What a ridiculous way to start a project.
Yeah, and we thought about changing the name after that, but we really like the name and the story that goes along with it. Yeah. So you can always take a photo from a different vantage point. So we're always saying vantage. What do you take a photo from down, from up? Yeah. So
well, and art too. I mean, your vantage point changes based on the art that you're presenting and the artist that's presenting it. And I love the fact that you're taking it to like cocktail artists. What a wild idea.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do, is always something different.
Yeah.
It started out with our own photos, but it's always about featuring other artists now.
Oh, that's great. So are you guys funded at all?
We started out through GoFundMe, actually. That's how we printed the first couple editions.
Oh, nice.
But now we're just basically fundraisers, events is how we've basically broke even up until this point. We're looking to get a couple grants for this year.
Oh, that's great. And is there, and this is not a shameless plug whatsoever, but is there a way that either people or companies can get involved? Could they, like, for example, I love sponsoring the arts. Is there a way that I can help with that? Or is that, are you just focused on fundraising through grants and stuff?
Yeah, so we have a whole sponsorship package that we send out to the community and to corporations.
Awesome.
So companies are able to sponsor, and we have a whole sponsorship package around that.
If you're interested, check out vantageyyc.ca. And if you want to see the some of the work, vantagemagazine.ca is the website for those.
Yes, that's right.
Awesome.
Application links are available on vantageyyc.ca.
Yeah. Now, is this, Riley, is this your main hustle?
No, so I also run a digital marketing company.
Oh, nice.
CMO for Hire. So we focus on Google PPC ads.
Gotcha. And that's sort of your day-to-day bread and butter?
Yeah, that's my day-to-day. It's a remote kind of job, and that's how I've kind of run my life, to be able to work from anywhere and travel.
Oh, that's awesome. So speaking of travel, like right now, when this comes out, we'll see where like life is like in the COVID world, but we're, mid-April when we're recording this. Where's your favorite place to travel to?
I've been to Portugal twice. Yeah. Spain twice. I really love Portugal. They have Web Summit there every year, so I've been to that conference twice.
Nice.
And then also traveled the country. I love Portugal. Portugal's amazing.
Yeah.
Most recently was in Italy, which was also an amazing experience.
Which part of Italy were you in?
I was pretty much in all of Italy. So I started at the top and just traveled all the way down.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's gorgeous, eh?
Yeah, Italy's amazing.
That's great. What's your the place that you most want to visit in the world that you haven't been to yet?
Oh, that's a good question. There's so many places. Probably Japan. I was supposed to go to Japan last year, but chose Italy instead.
Yeah.
So the Rugby World Cup was in Japan last year, so I'd like to go to Japan.
Are you a rugby fan?
Yeah, I do enjoy rugby.
Do you play here in town?
No, I don't play rugby. I was in New Zealand in 2011, actually, and that's
the All Blacks.
Yeah, so the Rugby World Cup was there in 2011, so I was able to watch some rugby there and kind of got hooked.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you've traveled quite a bit. Where did you get your love of photography? Did you go to school for that? Is that just something you were born with?
Yeah, I kind of I guess I was kind of born with it. I went to school for business and entrepreneurship from Mount Royal University.
Yeah.
So I don't have any formal training in photography, but I used to have an old point and shoot camera that I would use from a pretty young age.
Yeah.
And it was a Canon PowerShot
I have
camera.
one of those.
Yeah. And it was my favorite camera. I brought it everywhere.
Yeah.
I used all the different settings. You could, did quite a bit of long exposure photos with that camera.
Cool.
Loved that camera. Took so many photos on my travels around the city, and that's kind of how I got started taking photos. Kind of fell in love from there.
That's great. What's your favorite subject? What's your favorite thing to shoot?
I like street photography, kind of grungy, dirty, graffiti.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoy all the murals coming up. They're, a little bit different than the graffiti style, but I enjoy. Kansas City is a very, very awesome city. They have tons of murals and graffiti down there.
Oh,
so I really enjoyed taking photos down there. Old overgrown buildings and brick, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
grungy.
Awesome. Sort of like Lower Seattle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very cool. So just to segue ever so cleverly into the next project coming up for the magazine, you talked about murals. What do you know about the murals that have popped up around Calgary? Like, can you give us some insight into sort of the story behind how they got there, and maybe maybe not what you're featuring, but give us a snippet.
Yeah, I don't know the first year that the Bump YYC project started. I think it was 2016 or 2017.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was 2017 or 2018. But before then, there was only a few artists that had murals in the city.
Yeah.
The Kid Below, Bravo Toner, like those kind of guys would have murals. Like classic mural on the camera store that I've taken pictures of over the years, that the Kid Below had his work on that wall.
Yeah.
But I actually would go around the city, like pinning where the murals were in the city, and also pinning blank concrete walls that could be a mural.
That's amazing.
So I used to do this back in 2016, and try to figure out where there could be murals. And my goal was to connect those blank walls and businesses with the artists and get more murals done.
Amazing.
But I was doing too many projects at the time and kind of had to refocus on CMO for hire.
Yeah.
But then Bump YYC came along, and they've done a great job throughout the city.
Yeah.
And this is going to be their third or fourth year now.
Yeah.
Murals have just been popping up everywhere, and they've done a great job.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah, they're huge. Just beautifying the city. I love it so much. And that's why, I'd want to feature all these artists that are showcasing their work.
Oh, that is so cool.
Calgary. I love murals.
Yeah, me too. Do you have a favorite in the city right now?
I really like the one, and I don't know which artist it is, but it's just off 17th Avenue, right across from Tim Hortons. It's really bright colors. I'd have to look up the artist. Yeah,
I don't know that I've seen that one. I'll have to go check it out. The nice thing about this project is that when you drive through the city, you'll see something you've never seen before. I remember turning around this corner, there's like this huge mural of a wolf. And I'm like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, that's very cool. There's Bravo Toner did a mural in the West End with a collaboration with another artist as well. And that one, I think, is the biggest mural in Calgary.
Man. Well, that's great. So what's next for Vantage? So you're putting out one issue this year.
Yes.
And that's going to be the mural one.
Yes.
And 2021, are you just going to basically do one a year and curate that, or are you hoping to do more?
We're going to do one or two a year. Our goal is to do 2 amazing issues a year. Yeah. They could be bigger and better. The one next year is going to be a fashion issue.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to do murals this year. And then next year we're going to do fashion, and that's going to be issue number 10. And it's going to be a huge party and fashion show and celebrating getting back to normal, hopefully.
Yeah. Awesome. And do you have thoughts about what the next issue after that would be, or is that just as it comes to you? You're going to see what the world brings you? Yeah,
we'll see we have a lot of ideas, but we also want to partner with organizations and people and artists that want to kind of attach onto Vantage Magazine and collaborate with us.
Yeah.
So we've thought about doing tattoo. We've thought about doing like a travel issue where we feature travel photos. So there's no shortage of ideas.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what you want to do. You can't do everything. You have to pick something, right? Yeah. So, but if you pick something, you can do one thing and then do it well, right? So
yeah,
we want to find partners to help us, be in that theme and do it well.
Awesome. Do you find like every time you get one of your books, let me take you back to the first book that you published. So you started with this Kickstarter, you got funded, you put your stuff in there, you went and got it laid out. You went through that whole pre-press process. Then you went to press and you got your first book. What were your thoughts? Like, did it come out? Did it turn out the way that you thought it would? Was it emotional? Was it,
Yeah, it was really exciting. It turned out like that one, we did all the layouts ourselves.
Yeah.
It turned out pretty much the way we wanted, except for the font was a little bit too big, we thought.
Yeah.
So when you view it on your screen, it's a little bit different. So now we work with designers that help us figure all that stuff out. But I was super excited when it came to print. That was actually my second time being printed. I was actually printed in a Mount Royal University magazine.
Yeah.
Way back in the day. And I submitted one photo and my photo was printed on like the second last page in the bottom right corner and it was tiny.
Yeah.
But I was super, super excited about it. And I was showing everybody, I was like, look, my photo got published. It was a light painting photo where long exposure where I two lights and kind of moved them around all over the place.
Awesome.
So it was a long exposure photo and I loved that photo and I submitted it and it got printed in that magazine. And I still have that magazine actually. And that's another reason why I started Vantage Magazine, because I was super excited about that photo and it made me feel validated as an artist and gave me that physical thing to show people. Yeah. So I wanted to give other artists that feeling.
That's awesome. That just gave me the biggest warm fuzzy. I love that. What a great reason to do things.
Yeah, and that's the whole reason behind Vantage Magazine is to showcase the artist, and then also our volunteer team gets that experience to actually publish a magazine.
Oh, nice.
So we give that experience too.
That's awesome. Have you artists that you've helped? What's the word I'm looking for? Artists that you've brought on that you've put in the magazine. What has been their response to seeing their stuff in print, perhaps for the first time?
Obviously, like excitement. One story kind of stands out. One of our artists, she'd never been printed before. Maybe lacked a little bit of confidence in her own work, but an amazing photographer. And we always want to showcase like great photographers, but also some that are more on the amateur side too, a little bit, right?
Yeah.
To give them that platform. But I delivered the magazines to her and she opened up the magazine and saw her work in print. Yeah. And she almost broke down, like, her work was in the magazine, printed, gave her the confidence to actually put her work in one of our art shows and sell her first piece of work as well later on.
Amazing.
So it's not just a magazine. It's something for artists to help them grow as well.
So you create a platform almost by accident because of, your ability to just charge forth in your passion to do things. And you brought this thing into the world and it's changed over time. How did it change naturally? Was it always your idea to give a platform to other artists, or did it just happen this way?
I guess it kind of evolved over time for sure. Originally it was a platform for our own photos. Yeah. So the founder and I featured our photos and one other person's photos in the magazine. And at the time it was a good friend of mine. Yeah. So it was just us three in that first issue. And then it it quickly changed to featuring other artists.
Was that a hard transition for you to let go of your platform and invite others in?
No, not really. It was, we wanted to do different things. So we didn't want to always just be a photography magazine. We started featuring other artists and painters and that sort of thing quite quickly. In issue 2, we featured an amazing painter, expressionist painter, Jacqueline Fairley. So we were already featuring painters in the second issue, but we took those photos back then. So we're still featuring our photos of the artist.
Gotcha.
So we're still featuring photography no matter what, because you still have to shoot the art, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now we have our artist team, Ralph and Floyd Gonzalez, who shoot everything. So we're still featuring their work in the magazine as the photographer. But in the cocktail edition, for example, we're featuring the bar and the cocktail artist and the cocktail itself, right? Which is the art form.
Yeah. Oh, that's wicked. If you could, I don't know how it is that you came to be able to do this sort of thing. I don't know what it is that makes a person walk up to the National Music Center and say, hey, where's the press entrance? And just walk in. What is it that, I mean, you created this out of nothing, I guess, where I'm going. What advice could you give to other people that are maybe on the cusp of, starting their own adventure, or worried about starting it, or, afraid to break the rules? Mm-hmm. What's your advice to these people?
Yeah, I would say just keep going. Don't try too hard and have fun. So, go out and do what you love, right? Yeah. And meet people, and don't try to make something happen. Yeah. Because if you try to make something happen, sometimes it feels forced, right? Or it's forced. Yeah. So just go out, do what you love, meet people, have fun, follow whatever your passion is, and it'll kind of come to you in that way, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. Just give me a second. What is the 100% craziest thing you've ever done in your entire life?
The craziest thing would probably be skydiving in New Zealand.
Now, were you like static line jumping, or were you attached to somebody, or did you just jump out of the plane?
Yeah, I was attached to somebody else, but I was on the front, so that was pretty wild.
What on earth made you do that?
There was a group of us that found this Groupon. Yeah. And so a bunch of friends and I all bought the same Groupon, and we all went skydiving. I don't know. We were crazy. I guess going to New Zealand itself was also pretty crazy because I was 21 at the time, and I just went there for a semester of school for 6 months. So that was...
Why? Like, why on earth did you, was it a school that you could only do in New Zealand?
Well, I was at Mount Royal University at the time, so it was an exchange semester.
Oh, awesome.
So I was able to apply. I don't know, I just saw at Mount Royal somewhere, got in touch with the international organization there, and then just applied and chose to go to New Zealand.
Oh, man. And what's your favorite part about New Zealand, just while we're on the subject?
Oh, it's just a beautiful country. Like, it has some similarities to Canada, but it just changes so quickly. So you could be on the mountaintops, snowy, and then trees and rocks, and then ocean, beach. So like within hours, right? Wow. So it's a beautiful, beautiful country. I understand why they filmed Lord of the Rings there, because there's so many different types of landscapes.
Right. And is it, I've never been, is it, doesn't seem like there's a lot of people there, or is that wrong?
No, yeah, there's not very many people there. A few million, like 4 million, I think. But I think there's more sheep than people in New Zealand.
Really?
Yeah, there is.
That's hilarious. Wait for the uprising.
Yeah.
That's awesome. If you could share one crazy idea with the world, what would that be?
One crazy idea. Just be nice to people.
That's a crazy idea.
Well, it seems crazy to some people because some people just aren't nice. So
yeah, why is that?
I don't know. So I think it's a little bit crazy for some, but those of us who don't think it's crazy, just keep doing it.
Are you a reader or a Netflixer or both?
I'm both. I deleted my Netflix account actually, but I'm now using my brother's Disney Plus account.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite Disney show?
I've just been watching The Simpsons. That's it.
So, Disney owns The Simpsons now?
Well, they have the entire season, all 30 seasons or whatever on Disney Plus.
Oh my God. All right. Who's your favorite character?
Probably Homer Simpson.
Really?
Yeah. He's just hilarious, stupid and funny.
Awesome. What's your favorite book that you've read in the last year?
There's a book by Carl Sagan, and it's probably my favorite book. It's called The Future of Humans in Space.
Okay.
And it's about like exploring humans to Mars, like humankind going to Mars.
Yeah.
But it's more so, it's like a human story about exploring in space and why we're always on the edge of discovery and why we want to always push the limits. And it's also about the Voyager missions, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, and how we sent those spacecrafts like hurtling out into space.
Yeah.
And Carl Sagan was like a consultant basically on those missions. And the book is very insightful on those missions and just about humans and why we always want to push the limits.
And why do you think we always want to push the limits? What made you push the limits with the National Music Center and start a magazine and have your own business?
I think people are curious as to what's on the other side, right? And what's out there. So, we started a magazine. We didn't know shit about publishing, right?
Yeah.
But we found a printer and we did it anyways. And I think humans are like that too. Like we didn't know how to get to space, but we did it anyways, and we keep pushing farther and farther. It's like that curiosity of what's next? What will that feel like? Can I do it? Is it dangerous? Will I fail? That sort of thing.
Does failure worry you?
Yeah, I think so, but not to the point where, that I'm not going to do anything. But I think if failure doesn't scare you, then there might be something wrong. But, don't let it make you stop, like make you freeze.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be afraid of failure. It's something that will help you learn, help you grow. So the more you fail, the better person you'll become.
Do you mentioned danger? Are you certainly don't seem adverse to danger?
No, like skydiving, been bungee jumping as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not averse to danger. Calculated risk. We'll call it a calculated risk.
All right, fair enough. What are the 3 things that people need to know?
Just like in general?
Yeah. Your top 3 things that everybody should know.
Top 3 things that everybody should know. Okay, number 1, when you're traveling, bring lots of socks and lots of underwear.
Awesome. Okay. Like how many? Like what's a lot?
Well, if you're going for, let's say, a week,
yeah,
bring like 10 to 15 pairs.
Wow.
If you're going for a week or 2.
Yeah.
So it's especially if you're sightseeing and going to museums and stuff like that, doing a lot of walking. Yeah. Your socks are going to you can reuse a shirt a couple times, but you can't reuse socks and underwear.
Fair enough. Good tip.
Yeah. That's a good question. What should people know?
Yeah, just about anything. What do you know that other people should know?
Yeah, you can, sounds corny, but if you dream it, you can do it. But it's true. Like if you really put your mind to something, then you can make it happen. And a lot of people are scared, and fear helps people perform in some cases, but it shouldn't stop you from doing what you want to do. And I think maybe this situation we find ourselves in will help people take that next step. But I think overall, no matter what scenario we live in, you should be able to just take that step. And it's your life, live it the way you want to live it. You only have one shot, really, right?
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. What's the last thing?
The last thing people should know. Oh, that's a good one.
No pressure. I just totally dropped this on you. So
yeah.
It could be like, don't put pineapple on pizza if that's your thing, or, double up on the pineapple. It doesn't have to be life altering. It's just, random things that people should know.
Yeah. Use less plastic. How about that?
Love it.
Use less plastic. There's too much plastic in the oceans, and don't be a dick.
Love it. Use less plastic. Don't be a dick. That's probably going to be the title of the episode. Riley, thank you so much for being on the Rebel Rebel.
No problem. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for me as well. Have a great week. Looking forward to your next magazine, and I'll put all the links in the show notes. All my best to you and your loved ones.
Awesome. Bye, everyone.